Canopy Growth. It's the largest publicly traded cannabis company by market cap in the world and the first of its kind to list on the New York Stock Exchange. Came out with fourth quarter numbers yesterday, and joining us now to discuss the business at Post 9, a CNBC exclusive, Canopy Growth Corporation founder and chairman, CEO as well, Bruce Linton. Welcome.
Thank you.
So the stock got hit a little bit after the earnings. Operating costs really climbed. What drove that?
Well, so we're in the warm-up right now, right? Canada has about 300,000 medical patients, and on October 17th, we're going to add 35 million people in Canada, call it half of them are of adult age, can become my customer. And so I could have run off and been profitable in the warm-up, but I kind of think investors do better if I think about the game, and I win the inning and I win the series. And so what we did is we built a capability to onboard everybody in Canada who could legally buy this, both in what we can produce, how we package it, and how we sell it. And so I suspect the potential margin on earnings on 15 times more customers and revenue will be rewarded for actually taking the hit now. And my interest is being dominant, not profitable in the warm-up.
Yeah, how are you estimating the sales outlook for a market that doesn't exist yet?
Well, in Canada, you can't actually run a TV station or a newspaper or radio if you don't cover the cannabis file at least 5 times a day. And so we've saturated our media. There is no one not aware of what's going on. And the lineup, I think, will be televised continuously. So what's happening is the market will happen. We're going to have a first set of products that are very tightly regulated. By next July, we're going to have new products, which is why a partner like Constellation makes sense, because I expect to be able to make beverages. And I find that people would like to have a beverage that makes them maybe a little bit more positive, uplifted, has a feeling of about like having a beer or a glass of wine. And the real kicker is, how would you like to have 0 calories? And so when I look at the opportunity to transform the ingredient into finished goods, the margins are way better, the format's more acceptable, and I think what turns into is Canada, this really governed, boring place, is the world's model. And that's why we're in 9 other countries that are legal. We're not in the US.
Do you think beverages become a preferred delivery over vaping or edibles or topicals?
So we're going to do all of them and let people decide. But I fundamentally believe the reason we learned how to make pottery was so we'd have some place to put the wine. And so it goes back a long time where we've been thinking about beverages as a way to sort of mood modify and socialize. So I don't think it's a big social jump to move to that. It's for sure more normal than gummy bears.
Right. Would you take the over or under on U.S. federal legalization? Recreational?
Depends on the hour, but I think you're going to see something that's more like state by state, and where they say, well, because it's happening in that state, we'll make it not illegal. This file is probably one of those ones that it doesn't seem to matter who's in government at the top. There's a lot of pressures, right? Right now, if they made it federally legal everywhere, I'm going to go to some place that's flat, a bit of water, and plant probably 150 acres of cannabis. And my cost per gram compared to everything that's produced anywhere right now will be 10%. And what will happen is all of those states that have those growers are going to lose the jobs. So that's a pressure.
All right, why are you that much cheaper?
Well, if you go on scale. So what happens when it's state by state and they can't cross state lines, they actually have these really small facilities. So my footprint that's most efficient is about 1.7 million square feet. I also have one that's about 120,000 square feet, and I'd like to push it over the edge. And so what you'll find is the scale and platform on a state by state basis is very small. They have like 1,000 growers for Colorado. Arguably, you would need 2 or 3 macro ones versus 1,000 small ones.
Is oversupply in certain states out west a cautionary tale or not?
Well, their oversupply price point is higher than our current sale price. And so you will have oversupply in Canada, but it's a much more regulated entry point. We have about 10% of all the licenses issued. And so what you're going to find is in Canada by about 2020 or 2021, there'll be too much cannabis produced. But think of it as an ingredient. If I'm still selling primarily an ingredient, I have completely dropped the ball. What you want to do is transform that ingredient into medical trials. So we have trials starting this summer for primary insomnia that when they're done, if they're correct, will result in something that's a direct disruptor to Ambien. And did you buy cannabis then, or did you buy an outcome? And so the beverage, that you got to transform that ingredient. That's the business we're in. Right now, we just grow because it's regulatory required.
So you're describing a lot of use cases from beverages to medical. Who's your primary customer?
So right now, we deal with people who are sort of, I'll call it middle-aged and up, who have a chronic something going on. So whether or not they were dealing with neuropathic pain, or they have, call it a condition related to having diabetes, those are our medical customers, and most of them are medical. I would say probably 90% of our current customers are medical, and the reason I say that, in Canada we have 2 primary chains of pharmacies. And they have spent a lot of time at the beginning saying we will never sell cannabis. And now they're spending a lot of time saying we got to sell cannabis because I'm taking their customer. They no longer go to the pharmacy, which means they no longer pick up lipstick and milk, and so they want in the game. And the rest of the world, Germany's on now. So Germany has the same system for medical, and my sleep aid works in Canada. I bet you the German people will fall asleep using the same outcome, which I've patented and proven, if we get through that trial.
We will see. I know you're already exporting.
Yes.
Bruce, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for letting me be here.
Talk about the state of the business. Bruce Linton.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.